Ariella Brooks stared at her phone screen, blinking hard as if the numbers might magically change. But they didn't. Her bank account, the one she had been saving in for years, showed almost nothing. A balance so low it made her chest tighten. For a moment, she thought it had to be a mistake. Maybe the app was glitching or the bank was updating something. But the sinking feeling in her stomach told her the truth. Someone had taken her money. All of it. Her hands shook as she pulled on a sweater and stepped out of her room. Her parents were in the living room. Her mother, Denise, folding laundry, and her father, Calvin, watching TV like it was any other calm, quiet morning. Ariella's voice cracked as she spoke. "Mom. Dad, did either of you touch my bank account?" Denise froze. Calvin muted the TV slowly. "What kind of question is that?" he asked, frowning. "My money," Ariella said, holding up her phone. "It's gone. Every single dollar. And I'm the only one who has access, except," she swallowed. "Except you two." Denise's eyes darted away. She folded the same towel 3 times, hands unsteady. Calvin let out a long breath and rubbed his forehead. "There was an urgent family emergency," he said calmly, like he was reading from a script. Ariella felt her heart jump painfully. "What emergency?" she asked. "Why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't you ask me?" Calvin's jaw tightened. "There wasn't time." "But you had time to take everything I saved?" Her voice rose, trembling. "That money was for my future. My apartment deposit. My classes. My life." Denise finally looked up, but only for a second before dropping her gaze again. "We were going to put it back," she whispered. "We didn't want to worry you." Ariella stared at her mother, stunned. Something wasn't right. Denise couldn't even look at her properly. Her father's face was stiff, like he was hiding something bigger. "Mom," Ariella said softly, "what really happened?" But Denise didn't answer. She just pressed her lips together and looked at the floor. Calvin cut in sharply. "We told you it was an emergency. That's all you need to know." Ariella felt something break inside her. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet snap, like a small string finally giving way after being pulled for too long. She had trusted them. She had believed her money was safe under her own name. She had worked double shifts, skipped outings, packed lunches, all to save. And they had taken it without blinking. She stood there, feeling like the room was spinning. "I can't believe you did this," she whispered. Calvin stood up, towering over her, trying to look authoritative. "We're your parents. Families help each other. You should understand that." But Ariella didn't feel helped. She felt robbed. Denise flinched every time Ariella looked at her, like she was holding a secret so heavy it was crushing her. In that moment, a cold truth wrapped around Ariella's heart. Whatever they were hiding, it was bigger than an emergency. And this was only the beginning of her world falling apart. Responsible, hardworking, and quiet by nature, Ariella grew up in a home where she had to act older than her age. While other kids her age played outside, she was packing her own lunch, helping with chores, and calming her parents during their frequent arguments. Their home was never stable. Money problems, tension, and unpredictable moods were normal. By the time she turned 12, she understood bills better than birthdays. Ariella learned early that if she didn't take care of things herself, no one else would. She became the dependable one. The child who didn't complain, who kept her grades up, who pretended everything was fine even when the house felt like it was falling apart. Her parents always had a situation, whether it was unpaid rent, lost jobs, or small debts they couldn't explain. And somehow they always turned it into Ariella's responsibility. If she wanted something, even something small, she had to earn it herself. By 24, she was working as a customer care agent in a small office. It wasn't glamorous or highly paid, but she was proud of it. She worked with patience, stayed calm with rude customers, and slowly saved every extra dollar she could. She skipped fancy coffees and new clothes. She walked to work instead of taking the bus when she could. Everything she saved went into one account, her escape plan. Those savings weren't just money to her. They were her ticket out of a toxic cycle. A deposit for her first apartment. A small cushion to start a peaceful life away from constant stress. A chance to breathe. But living at home made that goal feel both close and far. Her parents, Denise and Calvin, had a long history of being careless with money and manipulating emotions whenever they needed something. They would say things like, "We're family, you're supposed to help." Or if you don't support us, who will? Whenever they were in trouble. And somehow, the trouble always came back. Her younger brother Marcus made it worse. He was the golden child, the one their parents spoiled even when they didn't have anything to give. He got excuses where Ariella got lectures, gifts where she got responsibilities. Marcus barely worked, made immature decisions, and still their parents protected him fiercely. When Ariella brought home her first paycheck, Marcus got a new video game. When she won an award in college, Marcus got a party because he felt left out. When bills were tight, Ariella was told to understand, while Marcus continued living carefree. All of this left Ariella constantly tired, not just physically, but emotionally. She felt invisible most days, appreciated only when someone needed a favor or money. Yet deep inside, she still carried hope. Hope for a small apartment with white walls and quiet evenings. Hope for a job promotion. Hope for a life where her decisions were her own. Every time she checked her savings, she felt a spark of possibility. She imagined signing a lease, buying her own groceries, and waking up in a place where no one yelled or blamed her. That money was her future, her exit, her safety. It meant freedom from years of being the responsible one while everyone else made careless choices. It meant finally breaking away from the emotional pressure her parents had placed on her since childhood. It meant proving to herself that she deserved a life better than the chaos she grew up in. She believed she was close. Just a few more months of saving, and she would be ready to start her own chapter. She had no idea that her parents were about to shatter everything she had quietly built. Ariella discovers accidentally, from a neighbor, that her parents didn't use her savings for any emergency at all. It happens on a quiet afternoon, when she steps outside to throw away the trash. Mrs. Turner, their next-door neighbor, waves at her with a smile. "Tell your brother I hope he's doing better," the older woman says kindly. Ariella frowns. Doing better from what? Mrs. Turner lowers her voice. From that gambling mess he got into. Your parents were so stressed. I'm glad they were able to pay off his debt in time. Ariella's breath stops. Gambling? Debt. She feels the ground shift beneath her feet. Sorry, she forces a smile. I didn't know. She walks back into the house slowly, heart pounding so hard it hurts. She pulls out her phone and checks her email again. That's when she notices something she missed before. A receipt from a payment transfer she never made. The note under it reads, Marcus debt settlement, urgent. Her stomach twists. Her savings. Her future. All gone. Because of Marcus? She stands frozen for a long moment, unable to move or breathe. She had asked them directly. She had begged for the truth, and they had looked her in the eye and lied. This time she doesn't wait. She storms into the living room, voice shaking. Dad, Mom, why did Mrs. Turner say you paid off Marcus's gambling debt? Calvin stiffens immediately. You talked to her? That's what matters to you. Ariella snaps. She holds up her phone. This receipt says my money was used for Marcus. Not an emergency. Not something life and death. My savings were taken to fix his mess. Denise's eyes flood with tears. Ariella, please listen. No. Ariella cries. I asked you again and again if there was something you weren't telling me. And you lied. Both of you. Calvin's face darkens. We did what we had to do. Marcus was in trouble. Real trouble. Do you want your brother to end up hurt? You think that excuse is stealing? She whispers. It's not stealing. Calvin snaps. We are your parents. Everything you have comes from us. When the family is in crisis, you help. Ariella feels something heavy settle in her chest. This wasn't just about the money. It was about their mindset, their belief that her hard work belonged to them. Denise tries to reach for her. We didn't want you to worry. Marcus was ashamed. He begged us not to tell you. So you took everything I saved? Ariella asks softly. Every dollar? Without even asking me. Denise cries harder, but her tears don't change anything. The truth sits between them like a sharp blade. Ariella looks at them, her mother refusing to meet her eyes, her father defensive and angry, and she realizes something painful. They never planned to treat her fairly. They never saw her money as hers at all. Her trust finally cracks. All those years of being responsible, working hard, saving quietly, thrown away without a second thought. She steps back, feeling numb. I don't think I can stay here anymore. Calvin scoffs. Don't be dramatic. But Ariella isn't being dramatic. She's waking up. In that moment, standing in the middle of the living room with her parents refusing to understand the weight of what they've done, she knows something has changed forever. This betrayal forces her to reconsider everything. Her home, her safety, her future. And for the first time, she sees the truth clearly. She cannot stay in this house any longer. Parents minimize her pain, making her feel ungrateful. After the argument, Ariella goes to her room and sits on the edge of her bed, trying to understand how her own family could treat her this way. But before she can calm down, Denise knocks softly and walks in. Ariella, you're making a big deal out of nothing, her mother says gently, as if Ariella is the problem. You should be grateful we trusted you enough to help the family. Ariella looks up shocked. Grateful? You took my entire savings without asking. Denise sighs. You're young. You'll earn it back. Your brother was in trouble. Then Calvin appears at the door, arms crossed. You're acting selfish. Families support each other. You should apologize for the way you spoke to us. The words hit her harder than she expected. Instead of admitting what they did, they were blaming her. They were twisting everything until she felt like she was the one doing something wrong. But that wasn't the worst part. Over the next few days, small things start to come out. Slips of the tongue, old papers left on the table, comments from relatives. Slowly, Ariella learns the truth. This isn't the first time her parents used her money. They had been taking small amounts for years, calling them little family expenses. She remembers moments that didn't make sense. Her mom asking casually for her card, just for groceries, and returning it without explanation. Her father saying the bank must have made a mistake when her balance didn't match her calculations. Marcus bragging about getting a surprise gift even though no one in the house had money. Those memories return like pieces of a puzzle she didn't know she was solving. Now she understands. They took advantage of her quiet nature. They assumed she wouldn't notice. They believed she would never question them. When she tries to talk to her relatives about it, hoping someone might understand, they only make her feel more alone. You're overreacting, her aunt says. Your parents have done so much for you. Let it go. Another cousin tells her. Money comes and goes, but family is family, someone else adds. No one supports her. No one listens. And Marcus? He becomes even worse. He storms into her room one night, face red with anger. Why are you telling people our business? He shouts. Do you want the whole world to think I'm a failure? You embarrass the family. Ariella stands up slowly. I didn't embarrass anyone. You did that by gambling. He points a finger at her. If you had just kept quiet, everything would be fine. You always act like you're better than everyone. I act responsible, she says quietly. That's all. Marcus scoffs loudly and slams the door behind him, leaving her shaking with frustration. With no one on her side, Ariella feels trapped in her own home. But instead of giving up, she begins to quietly protect herself. She goes through her emails, old bank statements, and notifications. She checks her online banking history from years back. Slowly, she gathers proof. Screenshots of unexplained transfers, small withdrawals she never made, and messages from her parents asking for her card. She keeps everything in a hidden folder on her phone. The atmosphere in the house grows more tense every day. Her parents act cold and distant, avoiding real conversation. Marcus glares at her whenever she enters the same room. Denise cries often, but the tears always come right when Ariella tries to talk about the money, making Ariella seem like the bad guy. Calvin accuses her of creating drama. The walls feel closer. The air feels heavy. The house no longer feels like home. It feels like a place full of secrets, blame, and people waiting for her to break. Every night Ariella lies awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how her own family could twist her pain into guilt. She feels suffocated, alone, betrayed. And day by day, the tension climbs higher until she knows one thing for sure. She cannot continue living like this. Ariella confronts her parents with evidence. She waits until the evening when the house is quiet, her phone and folder of documents in her hand. Calvin is watching TV, Denise is folding laundry, and Marcus is in his room playing a game. Mom, Dad. Ariella begins, voice steady but firm. We need to talk. Now. Calvin looks up, annoyed. What is it this time? Ariella doesn't answer immediately. She sits down at the table and opens her folder. I've kept records of everything. Emails, bank statements, messages. Every time you've taken my money, every excuse, every lie. I even recorded our last conversation about Marcus's debt. Denise freezes. Calvin's face tightens. You recorded us? Calvin shouts. What are you trying to do? I'm showing you the truth, Ariella says. I trusted you. I worked hard for my money. And you've been taking it without my consent for years. I have legal grounds if I need to use them. Denise bursts into tears, her hands shaking. Ariella, we didn't mean. You didn't mean? Ariella cuts in. You used my money. Not just for Marcus, but for yourself too. And now I know. You were planning to take even more from my future earnings. Calvin slams his fist on the table. How dare you accuse us like this? We are your parents. We do what's best for the family. This is not about family. Ariella says, voice rising. This is about respect, about honesty, about me being treated like a human being, not a bank account. Marcus storms into the room, face red. What's happening here? Why are you attacking Mom and Dad? You're making us look bad. I'm exposing the truth, Ariella says calmly. You embarrassed yourself, Marcus, not me. I'm just standing up for myself. Calvin's face turns red with anger. You'll regret this. You can't just threaten your own family. Denise collapses onto the sofa, crying openly now. Marcus glares at Ariella, then storms out, slamming the door. Ariella feels a mix of fear and relief. Fear because her family is breaking apart in front of her. Relief because she finally no longer feels powerless. She takes a deep breath and looks around the room, seeing the chaos she uncovered. The truth is heavy, but it's also freeing. For the first time, she realizes how much her parents relied on her obedience and silence. And now, none of it will work anymore. She also understands the depth of their manipulation. They had planned to use more of her future income, not just what she had saved so far. Her heart aches seeing her family fracture, but she knows this was necessary. Standing there, Ariella feels something inside her shift. No more lies. No more being controlled. No more being invisible. The house is silent except for Denise's sobs. Marcus's absence makes the air feel empty. Calvin glares but says nothing. In that moment, Ariella understands something painful and powerful. The family she thought she could rely on has broken, and she must now break away to protect herself. This is the turning point. The moment everything changes. She may have lost her family's trust, but she has regained her own. And nothing will ever make her turn back. Ariella moves out and stays with a trusted friend from work, someone she knows she can rely on. The apartment is small, just one room and a tiny kitchen, but it feels like freedom. For the first time in years, she can breathe without tension pressing on her chest. The first thing she does is open a new bank account, one only she can access. She transfers what little she has left and sets up new passwords, making sure there's no way anyone can touch her money again. For the first time, she feels in control. She also makes a list of boundaries. No calls about family drama, no sudden visits, no questions about her decisions unless she wants to share. She starts seeing a therapist, someone to help her sort through the anger, hurt, and betrayal. Sitting in the quiet office, talking honestly about her feelings, she feels the weight slowly lift. Each session gives her more clarity. She realizes she's allowed to choose herself, allowed to put her needs first, and allowed to say no to people who have taken advantage of her. Work becomes her safe place too. Her manager notices her focus and dedication and offers her a promotion. More responsibility, more pay, and a chance to lead a small team. Ariella hesitates at first, remembering all the times she was told she wasn't capable at home, but then she accepts. She feels proud. This time, her achievements are for her, not to fix someone else's mistakes. Her parents call. Denise leaves tearful voicemails. Calvin texts angrily. They try to guilt her. We're your family. How can you leave us? Think of your brother. After all we did for you. But Ariella doesn't answer. She doesn't feel bad anymore. She knows their guilt trips are just another form of control. Instead, she focuses on building her life. She buys groceries, cooks her own meals, and decorates her little apartment the way she wants. She laughs again, quietly, sometimes on the balcony with a cup of tea. She even starts a small savings plan again, this time fully in her control. each dollar a symbol of independence. Slowly, she notices the change inside herself. The fear and anger that had followed her for so long are still there, but they are lighter, more manageable. She feels stronger, smarter, and more capable. Ariella also reconnects with supportive friends, people who lift her instead of demanding from her. She shares her story cautiously, and each time she does, she feels less alone and more validated. Living independently, she begins to understand that healing isn't about forgiving her parents right away. It's about protecting herself, choosing peace, and reclaiming her life. Every small step, setting boundaries, saving money, saying no, builds confidence. She finally feels like she is creating her own world, one where she decides her future. By the end of these months, Ariella feels a sense of empowerment she never knew was possible. She is no longer trapped by her parents' expectations or Marcus's selfishness. She is in control of her life, her money, and her happiness. For the first time, Ariella feels truly free. Ariella reads a message from her mother. Her phone buzzes softly, and she sees Denise's name on the screen. Hesitant, she opens it. The message says, "Ariella, I'm sorry for everything. Please forgive us. We didn't mean to hurt you. Come home, we miss you." For a moment, her chest tightens. Part of her wants to reply, to comfort her mother, to hear that everything will be okay. But another part remembers the years of lies, the stolen savings, the betrayal, and the nights she cried alone. Ariella takes a deep breath. She doesn't reply. Instead, she sets the phone down and closes her eyes. She lets herself feel the sadness, then lets it go. She doesn't need to hold on to their mistakes anymore. She doesn't need to carry their guilt or their manipulation. She thinks about the life she is building, her small apartment, her job, her friends, her independence. She thinks about the strength she found in herself, the boundaries she set, and the peace she earned. Ariella smiles softly. Choosing herself doesn't mean she hates them. It means she values her own well-being, her own future, and her own happiness. It means breaking free from the cycle of manipulation and hurt that has haunted her family for years. For the first time in a long time, she feels light, calm, and in control. She knows she will face challenges, but now she has the courage to handle them on her own terms. She whispers to herself quietly, almost like a promise, "I choose me. I choose peace. I choose healing." And with that, Ariella lets the past stay behind her and steps fully into her own life, strong, independent, and free. Hey friends, thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.